All right, y'all, this is part 3 of the Alfred Wright case. If you haven't watched part 1 and 2, please take a second to go back and watch. All right, y'all, so the sheriff has started his search and they have found a few things, including his wallet, his ID, his watch, several part of his scrubs. All right, so at this point, this is when the sheriff, Tom Maddox, starts to really start pushing the narrative that this was all related to using illegal substances. He pulls his father over to the side. Now, this is in the middle of the search. He says, look, man, this is what, now, this is not exactly the word he uses, but I don't want to affect the algorithm. He says, this is what math with an E does to you. And that's, of course, switching the A for the E. It's classic. He says it makes your body temp rise. That way you want to take off all your clothes and just start running. But his family said he had no history of using. A loving husband and a responsible father. It was revealed later that sometime within the window of the 1 hour of him running off and his parents arriving that he called his client. He told him, look, I'm having trouble with my vehicle, but I will be to the appointment. It'll just be late. The authorities never tried to search his vehicle for any clues. Once they issued a warrant, they decided they just didn't want to check it. Remains parked in his parents' garage to this very day. Still unchecked. That evening, they brought in cadaver dogs, but they didn't start the search from the last place they saw him. They took it right to where they found the ripped scrubs. At this point, temperatures started rising as their frustration with the sheriff started to grow. He was described as being belligerent and rude, and did everything to stop them from searching, including shouting at them, telling them, I don't have to be here, I could be at home with my family hunting. And after 4 days of searching, he calls it off. He said there was no foul play found and he had exhausted all of his resources. But this was a young man out there. They had to try to find him. It shocked people, even on Facebook, they had gave up on him so fast. Calling off the search for Alfred Wright pisses me off. Would you want everyone to give up on you? So now Maddox's men, somebody at the police station, they responded to it. He's laid up drinking cold beer, watching football someplace warm, hiding out to keep from going to prison. So what were they trying to let the public know?